All right. Hey, everybody. I'm going to get started here in a second. Today we're doing another follower suggestion stream. So I posted my Instagram stories for 2-word drawing prompts. And today we're going to do Menacing Watermelon, suggested by Eladude. Eladude. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started drawing a menacing watermelon. Right, so as we usually do, I'm going to get started with a sketch layer. Go ahead and set that to multiply. Get my preferred sketch brush going. All right, so we're going to draw a watermelon in a way that makes it menacing. So I'm thinking we probably need that watermelon to be like towering over us. So and it should have a scary face because it's a watermelon. All right. So I'm just going to look up watermelon plants real quick, because I want to give it like hands, but I want them to be like made out of watermelon vines. So I just need to kind of see what watermelon seeds look, or watermelon leaves look like. All right, so it looks like they're kind of loopy. And maybe like a little furry. Or the leaves are loopy and they're a little furry. Okay. All right. That's good. We've got our trademarked potato going on. Then we're going to have these kind of like claw-like leaf hands. And I think this watermelon is ready to menace us. Gonna kind of simplify those teeth a little bit. Because at this point, this could be any menacing fruit. This could be a menacing potato. This could be a menacing eggplant. The real magic of the menacing watermelon is definitely going to come into play in the paint job. I feel that that's going to be key. All right. So could make the eyes a little bit bigger. Because I'm thinking I'm going to make the eyes and mouth like a cutout, like kind of like a jack-o'-lantern, and I want to have enough room to kind of do the layers of color inside a watermelon. So I just want to make sure that the features are big enough to have the room to do that. Okay. Kind of rounding out our melon. All right. I think we have a pretty good start here. So I think it's time to kind of block in some color. Actually, let me kind of move this around a little bit. Okay. So I think for color, we're gonna go ahead and use our lasso tool to kind of get our flats going. Just so we have really kind of crisp edges. I think kind of one of the nice things about these wibbly wobbly leaf shapes is there's really no way to go wrong with the lasso tool with them. Oh, I'm not sure why I went through all the trouble to lasso that hand there, because it's... Guess we should do the big shapes first. Act like we know how to lasso for a second here. Alright. Alright, now we gotta pick a base color, and I think we're gonna do the lighter green as our base color. Just because it looks like the stems of the watermelon are closer to that color. So we want a good kind of pale yellowish green. And we're just gonna fill that guy in, and there we go. Okay, so far so good. Okay, and now we're gonna grab a darker, cooler green. Don't want to go crazy with the saturation there. And kind of block in our leaves. Go a little bit more saturated than that. And nope, a little darker, a little duller. Yeah, that's the watermelon we want. It's the watermelon you all deserve. Okay. So we're just going to kind of do the leaves. The leaves are actually a little bit lighter than the darkest part of the melon itself. So we're just gonna make a patch of that color over there, and I'm gonna make the leaves a little bit lighter. There we go. All right, and we have these kind of crazy might need to find a texture brush to do these watermelon stripes, since they are super the edges aren't smooth. They're like really kind of like, I don't know, broken up, I guess. All right. So right now we're just kind of blocking in the color. Again, just kind of roughly, we want kind of an idea of where things are going to be, and the general color things will be. We'll probably use an adjustment layer to add some highlights and shadows. And we'll do some more subtle kind of adjustments and things later, and some more careful painting. So right now, we just want to quickly get something down, something that we can disagree with, as I like to say, so we have some idea of which direction we need to go in. So again, doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be something that we can think about. All right. I think that's pretty solid, starting to look a little bit more like a watermelon. Now we need a super pale, like almost white color for under the skin here. And of course, our bright red. For the meat of that there melon. And actually we're going to kind of want to blend that into the white as interiors of watermelons are blended. So they'll go from like deep red to like pink to like white at the edge. All right. So I like the level of menace we're getting from our watermelon already, but I think we're gonna be able to kick it up a little bit. So I'm gonna go and just turn off my sketch layer and see if we have enough information to work off of. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and deselect this guy so we can kind of fix the edges a little bit if we need to. And I'm gonna start by kind of sharpening up the edges of the features a little bit. Just so that those read without the outlines being there anymore. Of course, we're going to add little watermelon seed pupils to the eyes. All right. But of course, no angry-looking vegetable is quite as menacing as it can be without some dramatic lighting. So we have our clipping mask. We're going to go ahead and make a multiply layer. And we are going to have it bottom lit, because that is by far the most menacing of lighting scenarios. So it's going to be kind of darker up top. And right. Then we're going to add some color. Right. Let's try to make that a little darker too, a little more dramatic. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and erase out the eyes and mouth a little bit, just because it looks scarier when those are kind of like not super dull. So there's like an unearthly glow inside our menacing watermelon. So I think that's just a good look in general. Kind of fade some of this. Grab my blending brush. Just kind of smooth out some of this shading. Alright, it's pretty solid. Okay, that's a much more menacing watermelon. We'll go ahead and merge that down. Now I'm gonna get one of my favorite kind of oily brushes, oil-like brushes. And we're gonna kind of go from here, kind of adding some details. Kind of popping some things out. Alright, so we had kind of a reddish shadow, so I'm going to kind of use the complement for highlights, and I'm going to just get like a really obnoxiously bright green. Actually, let's go full saturation on that green. And just kind of throw a little rim lighting on some spots here and there to show that it's being kind of underlit. Actually, let's make our background kind of a warm, desaturated color. Let's go a little bit darker. Turn down the saturation a little bit more. Okay. I'm gonna do like a super quick kind of like background scene. Or just, oops, not on the right layer. Do super quick kind of background texture basically, and this is just to kind of like explain where this light is coming from. Like it's just kind of like a natural glow in the environment. Alright, perfect. Nailed it. Now we have a little bit more to work with when we're doing our watermelon. So now that we have all this bright green lighting, like our original kind of muted green color looks super dull, so we're going to add some saturation back into those areas real quick. This is why color is so hard, because like it's all kind of relative to what's around it. So just because we kind of like darkened the background and added this saturated green like lighting, everything looks off. Which is fine. That's why we kind of set these things up kind of early in the process. I'm going to go ahead and add kind of some foreground. Textures. Just kind of adding some texture to the rest of the background. Alright. And it's looking like we're getting a slightly more painting style, so let's kind of get rid of these super sharp edges after all. All right, and I think we have a pretty good kind of lighting scenario going on. We've kind of roughed things in a little bit. Things are still super kind of rough. And we definitely have a lot more work to do. But I think we're at a point where we can kind of see where we want to end up. Not where we're not there yet. We're not where we want to end up, but we can kind of start seeing kind of what we're aiming for. Right. And I actually kind of want this whole face to be much bigger than it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and lasso it and make it bigger. I'm going to go ahead and select the inverse. And just real quickly kind of fill in kind of around it. All right. And I think we kind of want our meat to be darker. So I'm going to go ahead and just get like a richer kind of red in there. Right. And I'm going to kind of lighten up portions of this just so it kind of reads a little bit more clearly, like the shapes read a little more clearly. All right. Okay. I think we're kind of getting where we want to be. Just go ahead and push it around a little bit. Here, I'm basically just kind of rounding out the watermelon a little bit. Okay, so before, after. And I'm actually thinking it would be a little bit more menacing if it was like looking down. So we're just gonna change these eyes so that it's like looking down at something. What's the natural enemy of a watermelon? Like, what would traditionally a watermelon be afraid of? What eats watermelons in the field? I'm just gonna Google watermelon pests. Oh, those are mostly like bugs and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna shrink this all down a little bit. Kind of move it up, because we have gone from just drawing a menacing watermelon. Now we're gonna create an entire like narrative illustration around the concept of a menacing watermelon. So we kind of want something down here in the foreground. And I'm thinking it would be cute to just have like a little mouse, like a little field mouse. like silhouette. We'll go ahead and kind of add some rim lighting on that guy. We still want to keep it kind of I think we kind of just correct our mouse anatomy a little bit. Right. I think that's pretty good. Like, we just want it to be recognizable, but we still want kind of the focus to be the big scary watermelon. And then you just kind of notice later that this little mouse is here. So again, we just kind of imply that there's a mouse, but we don't want it to be too detailed. There, alright, so now not only do we have a menacing watermelon, but our watermelon is menacing this little mouse guy. It's great. Tells a story. Let's give our little mouse guy a shadow, as objects in the world often have. Alright, there we go. Oh, you know what I did? I made all of these holes backwards, like, because we're supposed to be looking up. So we would see the top meat of all these holes and not the bottom meat. Which, I'll admit, is a pretty rookie mistake. I'm surprised I didn't think of that until now. I was looking and I was like, something isn't right here. You know, something isn't reading properly. And I'm like, yeah, obviously we're looking up at this guy, but seeing the bottom part of all of his bits. It's like I've never drawn a menacing watermelon before. Rookie mistakes. That also has the side effect of allowing us to use a much brighter color on the white part, because now it's catching the light instead of being occluded from it. Okay. Of course, we still need our pink transitions. And now the deepest red will be under here. We also kind of want these openings to kind of follow the curvature of the melon a little bit better. That will help them kind of read as like inset versus like being kind of pasted on top. Kind of like that. Sweet. Now we're cooking. Now things are happening. I kind of like the hollow eyes better than the little seed eyes too. So I think we're gonna keep those. I'm just gonna put some deep shadows in the pulp. Kind of red in the center. There we go. Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. We're going to kind of lightly blend the top into the background a little bit so it doesn't stand out as much. And that kind of keeps our focus down here in this area. All right. See, now things are coming together. We're getting places now. This is really like, this is why I do kind of the 2-word suggestion thing on Instagram, because like I would never think to do something like this on my own. And it is pretty freaking cool, so I am excited to be a part of it. Alright. We will kind of put some seeds here and there. Inside that. Mouse guy. Alright. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're coming up to the hour mark, but we're not finished. There's a lot of work to do. We're going to keep going. We're going to power through. We are going to give this menacing watermelon the level of respect and polish that it is due. All right. Liking the look of that. So now I'm kind of going through and making sure that things are like reading easily. So kind of making things a little bit darker or lighter, kind of increasing contrast here and there, just so that things kind of like things that are in front of other things kind of look more that way. I think I might actually reshape this leaf a little bit to remove a tangent, because like the edge of the leaf was right along the side of the watermelon. Which tends to be kind of distracting, and it's kind of hard to tell which is supposed to be in front. Also going to kind of darken these vines, just because they seem to like they're just kind of popping out a little too much. Pushing those guys back. Kind of adding some more vine shapes here and there. Just kind of all right. Bring this down a little. All right, things are coming together. Let's go back into our little mouse guy. to clean him up a little. Add some other textures here and there. All right. Now let's get a good kind of pinkish color. Let's turn that down a bit. And we're going to add some texture inside this mouth so that it is the menacing, gaping maw it is destined to be. Kind of blend some of this down a little bit. And actually, get a smoother brush for this. Okay. So, and now I'm going to work on just kind of like strategically blending some areas a little bit better. Kind of cleaning up rough edges that shouldn't be rough. Oops, looks like we ran out of music, so we'll have to restart our playlist. Okay. Oh, thanks, Don. All right, so now we're kind of adding some deeper shadows just to kind of again keep things popping, or pop things out so that it's clear kind of like what's going on and things just read a little easier when it's smaller. So just kind of making this gaping maw kind of stand out a little bit more. Yeah, I think Twitch doesn't necessarily have like an automatic quality step down based on your internet connection, and I think a lot of other services do. So if you have kind of like a weak Wi-Fi signal, I think probably Twitch isn't the best place for you to watch. I think maybe if you're like an affiliate or something, then you get kind of some automatic um, kind of downgrading of the stream for people with slower internet connections or something. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking out my butt. I'm not sure, but I think I heard that somewhere at some point. I don't know if it's still true or not. All right. Let's get some super red going on in here. Oop. Yeah, I actually forgot I was on a different layer, but I guess I can just merge this down. Yeah, so basically my layers are just foreground, middle ground, and background. Um, and kind of as I go, the difference between them will matter less and less. Alright, and I'm going to kind of bend some of these teeth a little bit more around the shape of the melon. Get my pink in here. Kind of a white color. Alright, now I'm just reposing this mouse so that it's a little bit more kind of hunched. Alright. So I think we're just about done. I'm just going to try out some glow effects on an overlay layer. Grab my airbrush. This is our Menacing watermelon. I think it's finished. I think it's perfect. I'm very happy to have been involved. Thanks again to Ayla I hope I'm pronouncing that right, from Instagram, for suggesting a Menacing watermelon. I think it turned out pretty well. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. Perhaps, Hannah, perhaps it is going to menace that little mousy in some unspeakable way that only the mad machinations of the watermelon mind could possibly comprehend. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen next? Let me know in the comments what happens next, I guess. Alright. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of my work, you can find it over on Instagram and Facebook at Anthony James Rich Art, or on my website at anthonyjamesrich.com. If you want to help support streams like this and my other artistic endeavors, you could also check me out over on Patreon at patreon.com/AnthonyJamesRich. Alright, so thanks for watching. Definitely keep an eye out on my Instagram stories for your chance to submit a topic for one of these drawing follower suggestions streams. And have a great day. Thanks.